Okay. So this is in response to your video about your group leader that, I don't know. I watched the video twice, I guess. One thing that I don't understand is I don't really understand what you're upset at her about. What I got from it is that you're upset with her that she smoked weed in her house. I don't know if you, live in the same house. I don't know your group situation. I'm assuming that it's an eating disorder group. And if it's anything like the eating disorder group that I attend, which it might not be, so if I'm wrong, correct me. But in my group, we meet once a week in a room, and, my group leader, as far as I know, doesn't live with any of the other people in the group. I don't know if, maybe it's because, I don't know, it sort of did sound like maybe you're in, a residential type place or something, I don't know. But anyway, that's beside the point. So, it sounds... Okay, so I guess since I don't really understand it, I'm just can't really give advice. But I will say a few things. I'm in recovery from drugs and alcohol. And I know how that life is. And for me personally, I'm a Christian. I have a very strong belief in God. And I pray to God, constantly. As soon as I wake up, it's the first thing I do. Right before I go to bed, it's the last thing I do. And then throughout the day, all day, I call on God. As I sit here smoking a cigarette, look, I know this is bad. People, if little kids watch this, don't smoke. But, it's... Can't give everything up all at once. And you are correct that if you had gotten into the whole drug scene, you could very easily be dead. I'm glad you realize that. It's not something you want to mess around with. So anyway, I shot heroin. I smoked crack. I was your typical crackhead, and I was your typical drug addict and alcoholic. I have an older sister now who smokes weed. She is in her 40s, and she's got 2 kids, and she smokes weed. However, she still has a job and maintains a house and a relationship and is a good mom. I think people who can do that, more power to them. And I guess what I'm wondering also, not to be critical or anything, because I don't know your situation, I'm wondering how her smoking weed in her house affects you. From what I understand, you're not in a drug alcohol treatment program. I think it would be different if you're going to a drug recovery group and the leader of that group, you found out that she had smoked weed in her house. That's a little bit of a different scenario, but this is an eating disorder group, from what I gathered. And I think, whatever your leader does at home, if it's not related to an eating disorder, I think that, that's at home, unless you live with her. I don't know. I don't know, you mentioned that it's the 3rd time that she's hurt you. I don't know what the stories are behind the other 2 times. But just from this particular time, the only advice I can give you, just from what I got, is that whatever she does at home, I think, is her business. And yeah, if you're worried about her, for real, pray. That's really all you can do, and what she does at home is not in your control. And I guess I'm wondering also how that hurts you. It sounded like maybe her stepdaughter's a friend of yours or something and was venting to you about it, and that bothered you. You know, if that's the case, you know, tell her stepdaughter you don't want to hear it. You know, it really affects your opinion of her. And it does. It obviously does affect your opinion of her to know that she does that. I don't know how her smoking weed in her house would hurt you. You know, maybe I think I need a little more information about this to really give any advice. But it does make me wonder a few things, you know, like for me. I've got a year and a half sober. Does the fact that I used to live on the streets and intravenously shoot heroin into my veins, does that affect the way that you perceive me as a person today? Because I'm not that person anymore. And, you know, what a person does not always define who they are. A person who can drink and you know, have a life at the same time, you know, I think that's none of my business. A person who can smoke a little pot and still have their life, that's none of my business. And my sister, she smokes weed, and that's none of my business. And, you know, I understand this lady is like in some type of authority situation with you because of her being the group leader. I don't know your group dynamics. I don't know how things are there. I mean, if it affects you really bad, I don't know. Maybe find a different group. But when it comes down to it, you know, if she smokes weed at home and you're not in an alcohol and drug treatment group and you don't live with her or whatever, then I don't see what the relevance is pertaining to your eating disorder. Maybe you could clarify that a little bit. But, I guess that's the only advice I have. I hope it didn't piss you off or anything, because, like I said, I really don't know the situation. But, yeah, if you want to clarify it a little more, maybe I could help out a little more, seeing as how I've been down the alcohol and drug path. And I've already come out of that. But anyway, good luck. Let me know how it goes.